wellness revolution starts now.
Welcome to today's program. I'm Dr. Steve Hotze, and I have a guest of the Hotze Health Wellness Center that's joining us, Chris Mullins. Chris, thanks for being here with us today.
Yes, sir.
Chris has got a wonderful story about his taking charge of his health and getting his health back and getting his life back. So, Chris, I know your wife initially came in January, right? This is something we see commonly. The husband goes, honey, you ought to go see Dr. Hotze. Did you tell her that?
She made the decision.
Okay. But oftentimes the husband's recommending, I heard this on the radio and I want you to go see Dr. Hotze. And then within a year, they got you by the ear going, you're going to go in and see Dr. Hotze or the Hotze Health Wellness Center. So that's a great story. Your wife's doing well.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
So you got your wife back.
Yes. Yes.
And she got her life back.
Yes, she did. She is.
And so let's talk about you. So you saw some changes in her and improvements, and you decided to come in. What led you? What kind of symptoms were you having that made you think maybe I could benefit from the program?
I believe, pretty much a typical American diet. I was overweight. I was probably 265, heavily inflamed, which I didn't know at the time, chronically sick, sleeping issues.
When you say chronically sick, what do you mean chronically sick?
Chronically, I either had a sore throat or I was having headaches or just not sleeping well, just didn't feel well. But I had, unfortunately, at that point, just gotten to the point where I was like, well, this is just the way it's going to be. And she started the yeast-free diet. So I said, okay, well, in January, I'll start the yeast-free diet with you. And that was dramatic change. I dropped probably 35 pounds and could immediately start to feel the changes.
Right.
And that was huge. It was very surprising.
And that was a yeast-free diet. And you had mentioned in your initial visit with our physician's assistant, Jason Gerlos, that you had some rashes in your groin.
Correct.
You're having jock itch, basically.
Yes,
right?
sir. Lots of yeast infections.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So when you got on the yeast-free eating program, did that help clear that up?
Yes, it did.
So that's one of that's a great benefit. Most commonly, people get the yeast problems. They get it in the colon, and it's from having, if you had sore throats and all that, probably over a period of time, you've had several courses of antibiotics in your life, right?
Yes, sir.
And the antibiotics will kill normal, healthy bacteria in the gut. Yeast overgrows and produces toxins that seep into the bloodstream and cause autoimmune disease and cause inflammation and chronic problems where you just don't feel well because your microbiome, that's the bacteria in your gut's all dysregulated and out of balance. Mm-hmm. So the yeast-free eating program, which is basically a ketogenic program, you cut out the sugar, cut out all the bread products, the potatoes and rice that get converted to sugar, and cut out wheat products and corn products, because all those are simple carbohydrates that convert to sugar that yeast grows on. Mm-hmm. So by eliminating that and going on this yeast-free ketogenic program, that helped you clear that up. So what else? What other symptoms were you having? You having brain fog or having?
Yes, sir.
Lack of drive and mood and all that?
All of those. Lack of drive, depressive mood, and I was very anxious. I had anxiety. I had anxiety about work, lots of issues that would just worry me out of nowhere that seemed to be kind of uncontrollable. All that started to subside. And then in March was when I got with Jason and started putting me on the supplements, and that's when everything dramatically changed.
Did he start you on testosterone at all?
Yes, sir. DHEA and enclomiphene.
Oh, yeah. And so clomiphene is an oral medication that stimulates a man's testicles to make their own testosterone. Historically, we've given testosterone shots, but we've had really good success here recently in the last several months using clomiphene to help you naturally produce your own testosterone. And so you could tell a difference on that, huh?
100%. I actually felt 30 years old again, working out. I do good full heavyweight resistance band workouts. I crave it. I crave the sweating. It's an absolute life changer for me.
Great. So what was it that you noticed coming to our center? I don't know, have you seen other physicians about your health problems?
Absolutely.
And what did they say?
Drugs. Here's more drugs. Take more drugs.
Like, what did they put you on?
Antibiotics, like you said,
Right.
initially always the antibiotics, heavy creams, steroids that would kind of mask symptoms, and I kind of thought they were going away, but it never really took care of the issues.
Right. And so when you came in, what was different about your visit with Jason Gerlos?
The big difference is the entire environment here. The Hotze Wellness family, everyone is encouraging, everyone is helpful, they're engaged. Jason probably spent more than an hour with me going over my blood work, my questions, asked me what else he needed to explain to me. It was phenomenal. The intent there to truly help me change and get me to where I am now.
Well, we feel like here at the center that we have a ministry, a Christian ministry to represent Christ as a great physician. And our job is to walk in his shoes and be his hands and feet and try to help people get on a path of health and wellness naturally, because God gave your body amazing restorative power. If you put the right molecules in your body's going to regenerate and it's going to rejuvenate.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, instead of feeling like an old guy with a foot in the coffin and went on a banana peel, all of a sudden you're back at the gym working out and you feel like
Yes,
you're 30 years old again.
Yes, sir.
And a lot of that is going to be due to the testosterone production that you're making because you're taking the clomiphene to produce more testosterone. Testosterone affects your initiative, your assertiveness, your sense of well-being, your self-confidence, your moods, your goal orientation, your drive, directiveness, decisiveness, analytical ability. These are all brain functions.
Mm-hmm.
Testosterone and the female hormones too in women affect the neurotransmitters in the brain, the way we think and feel. And so as we age, inevitably our hormones in women, they can become imbalanced and they go through the change, menopause, and they don't make any more hormones at about age 50 approximately. And men, our testosterone levels just gradually decline, get lower and lower and lower, and that affects the way we think and feel. Now, it also, the testosterone affects your muscle tone and muscle mass. Mm-hmm. You probably have noticed in your weightlifting now that you're bulking up and you're getting
Yes,
some
sir.
muscle mass again. It affects cardiovascular function, rheumatic moods, and inclinations.
Mm-hmm.
So wipe that silly grin off your face.
Everything you say is absolutely correct. I can't stop agreeing with you and smiling because it's 100% true.
So, and you talk about the way you're treated here. We consider you a guest.
Yes, sir.
How do you think that affects you, that we think of you as a guest rather than a patient? How does that affect the way you relate to the staff?
It's absolutely encouraging, and I look forward. In my entire life, I'm 55 years old. In my entire life, not one of my general practitioners has ever called me and said, "How are you doing?" Not one. The staff here does.
Right. And I guess Jill probably worked with you, did?
Yes, sir. Jill and Jason and Paula and Jackie and everyone and so many more. They're all encouraging and helpful. The Clara app, being able to just send a text and say, "Hey, I'm having this. Is this an issue? Do I need to be worried about this?" And getting that immediate response, being able to come in, it's amazing. It is absolutely amazing.
We decided back in 1996 that we were no longer going to be in a medical practice. We decided, why don't we go into the hospitality industry and within that context, provide medical care. So we changed the name of our patients to guests. We redid the whole office, piped in music, and went through a training really with the Ritz-Carlton. We had the Ritz-Carlton people come in and train us on hospitality environment. And that's what we wanted. We want to do that because we want our guests to be our friends, and we want them to know that we want to affirm them and we want to help them and do everything we can to get you on a path of health and wellness. Now, Chris, the credit really goes to you. you were whether you realized it or not, you were in the health Olympics, and you were running you were the last guy in the race.
Oh, yes.
I mean, you were doing terrible. You didn't even know you were in the health Olympics. So, but we come alongside and we like to partner with our guests and make recommendations from a natural point of view that will help you get on that path of health and wellness naturally. So you have energy, you got vitality and enthusiasm for life, right? That's our goal. So we make these recommendations much like a piano teacher would make recommendations if you were taking piano lessons. I'm taking lessons now. I got to play my scales. I got to do circle of fifths. I got to run the keyboard. I've got to practice things without even playing a song. I've got to practice chords over and over again. And if I don't do that, I'm not going to be able to play the music. Now, I played all my life, but I'm back into it again. I'm going to get myself trained and be proficient again as I once was on the piano. But I've got to do the work. And it's the same thing with you, whether you were learning golf or tennis or piano, whether you're working out with weights, somebody's going to give you some training on what to do. But you've got to do it. So you've done it.
No, it's because Jason and your staff has taken the time to give me the proper diagnosis so that I can now have the proper treatment. And again, that encouragement, like I said before, I had already accepted that this is just the way it's going to be for the rest of my life. I'm 55. I'm old. It's the way it is.
Oh, sir, enjoy your youth while you got it, buddy.
I'm telling you, you can change. It works 100%. I feel like I'm 30 again. Like you said, my vitality, my concentration, it is back, and I feel like I've never felt before in my younger years. It's
now, what line of work are you in?
I'm in industrial sales, so I do a lot of work out at the refineries and the chemical plants. So highly stressful job, but no longer. I don't have the anxiety anymore. I don't have the stress that I used to have. I have that clarity and I have that peace of mind to be able to get things taken care of.
Well, that's great. Well, I congratulate you for taking charge of your health. I know we put you on a yeast-free eating program. We got your testosterone up to a good level. We put you on some vitamins and minerals, got you on a good healthy eating program. You're exercising. There's only a few things that you've had to do just to get on the path of health and wellness, and you took charge of your health. I like to mention this every time to our listeners. There's nobody in charge of your health but yourself, not your doctor, not the government, not your insurance company, not even your spouse is in charge of your health. You're in charge of your health, and if you decide you want to be healthy, you need to make that a goal, and you need to invest in your health. There's no better thing. People invest in all kinds of things. Buy cars they don't need, new cars, build a swimming pool, go on cruises. We spend all this money, but when it comes to your health, you go like, well, I don't know if I want to spend any money on my health. Well, it makes a big difference, and I'm not going to ask you, but I would imagine that you have done dramatically better in your sales than you were doing several years ago.
Yes, sir.
And that's because you feel well. And people like to be around somebody that's feeling well and happy and energetic and enthusiastic rather than somebody just kind of lugging around. So I've told guys before, I said, look, I ought to just treat you for free and you just give me 10% of the additional profits you make. And they all laugh at that.
We could work something out.
Well, Chris, thank you for joining us today.
Yes,
great
sir.
interview, and I'm proud of you for taking charge of your health. That's great. And if any of you have a mind to get fit as a fiddle as this young man is, then I want to encourage you to give us a phone call. We'd be glad to partner with you and help you get on a path of health and wellness so you have energy, vitality, and enthusiasm like Chris does. Thanks for joining us today. May God bless you.
Did you know that pharmacists are considered the most accessible healthcare professionals, and yet at the same time, we are generally the most underutilized? Pharmacists are medication experts, which means that we can best advise you on the safe and appropriate use of your medications, when to take them and how to take them. We're experts in pharmacology. which means that we receive extensive training to understand the science behind how medications work within the body. We screen for any interactions which may occur between the medications you're taking, and we have an in-depth understanding of how these medications affect each system of the body. Your body is unique, which means that the type and dose of medication you take should also be unique. We want you to know that at Physician's Preference Pharmacy, we are always available to you and we welcome your questions.
Information provided on this program is neither intended nor implied to be a substitute for professional medical advice and is not intended to replace the services of a physician, nor does it constitute a doctor-patient relationship. You should not use information from this radio program to diagnose or treat a health problem or disease without consulting with a qualified healthcare provider. If you have or suspect you have an urgent medical problem, promptly contact a professional healthcare provider or call 911. Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution advises you to always seek the advice of a physician or other qualified health provider prior to starting any new treatment or with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. Any application of the recommendations from this program is at the listener's discretion.